Let's forget about packing and shipping and getting your stuff and unpacking and throwing it in the boxes. We all know all that. Not that much fun. Anyway, here are some very important things you need to keep in mind when you actually move. For example, you've got to take care of homeowners insurance, auto insurance. Your addresses have to be changed. For most places, that's going to be okay, especially if you use a large national carrier. However, you need to understand that local carriers, state-based carriers, can provide better pricing. Don't presume that the carrier who is best in your old location is the most efficient in the new location. I wouldn't conclude that at all, because the carriers are choosing individually, intentionally, to be competitive in one spot versus another. It doesn't matter where you're trying to relocate. That's the case all the time. It's not only statistics, but it's in addition to that, insurance carriers are intentionally choosing specific geographic locations for their own reasons. You and I are never going to get that insight. They're never going to tell us that, but that's the case. When it comes to health insurance, here's what you need to know. If you have Affordable Care Act insurance, let's say you bought it on healthcare.gov, let's say you bought it on your state marketplace, you have the right to change plans. What you cannot do is you cannot simply enroll in health insurance if you did not have health insurance prior to the time that you moved. The new carrier is going to ask for evidence to prove that you had health insurance in the past. For those persons on Medicare, also another set of things you need to consider. For those on Part D or Medicare Advantage, you may need to switch plans. In fact, you need to switch plans. You do have time here, but please remember, especially if you have a Medicare Advantage HMO, the hospital, the doctors must be in network for that plan. And so now you've moved to your new location. If they're not in network, you're responsible for 100% of the costs under HMO. Under PPO, slightly different. You can use your PPO in location 2. However, you would be charged the out-of-network cost if your doctor, hospital, clinic wasn't in network. In addition to that, you can presume that the out-of-pocket maximum and deductible can be different. This is the case anytime you use a combination of in-network and out-of-network providers. For persons who are MEDIGAP policy owners, now actually a bit more subtle. You can continue to have your MEDIGAP plan in your new location. That is indisputable. However, what you need to know is that the pricing, kind of like what I said under the auto insurance example, I can tell you that the prices will wildly vary from state to state, from carrier to carrier. Let's say you're with Carrier 1 and you moved from Illinois to Iowa. I'm just making it up just for illustration's sake. Carrier 1 may have been the most competitive in Illinois. That doesn't mean that it's the most competitive in Iowa. In fact, they may not even be involved in Iowa at all, in which case you could be assigned a much higher MEDIGAP premium, dramatically higher. $1,000 a year, very possible. There can be exceptions. For example, if you move to a state with special MEDIGAP enrollment rights, which are above and beyond the federal MEDIGAP policies, then it may be possible that you are able to switch into a more efficient, cheaper MEDIGAP carrier and keep the same plan. My clients, we've had this discussion in advance, because the reality is, in my example, when we moved from Illinois to Iowa, maybe what we've done is found the carrier which is competitive in both locations, meaning that they knew they were going from Illinois to Iowa. And maybe carrier number 3 wasn't the most competitive. Maybe it wasn't the absolute cheapest in Illinois, but in Iowa, they were. Okay, maybe then we needed to choose carrier number 3 right from the beginning. This is a subtle point on MEDIGAP which can cost you or save you thousands a year. In fact, it's so dramatic that certain persons may even choose to live in a different state. Let's just say, for example, you were going to live in your RV and you were going to make a particular state your home base for a year and then choose another state later. So while my example is extreme, the fact of the matter is, could you then cherry pick the states to the place where MEDIGAP is more affordable, thereby saving you the money? Or move to a state where you had these special rights to get access into MEDIGAP? Possible. That is possible. And again, like I said, the difference in premium, thousands of dollars. One very important point, and you can see it in this interview that I had with Kim Browning, who is an elder law attorney. You need to know that if you have a will or trust, that this is governed by the state. And the state, all of the rules, for example, the complicated matters of guardianship that Kim and I spoke to for an hour, the rules, the laws change from state to state. As a result, you want to make sure your legal documents that govern you and your family, your belongings, are kept up to date.